Relentless history in the making. The McIntyre Mini Globe Race 2025. Small boat, huge adventure.
Well, g'day everybody. So it's, I hate to tell you this, Friday the 13th of June. January, February, March, April, May, June. Yep, we got the right month. And we should see a winner of leg 2 from Panama to Vuda Marina here in Fiji very soon, but still a bit unpredictable. Will it be on the 13th or will it be on the 14th? Anyway, we'll explain all that. And we got a happy day. Just got some good news about a couple of things. We've got another boat. Some people might not realise that, but Jane and I have got a Swan 57 ketch called Explorer in the UK, and it's currently just starting on a bit of a refit program, and it's in the shed. The masts are apparently down, touch wood, taking both masts out in the shed and doing some repairs and going to work on the engine and bits and pieces, and we're going to get a new paint job, so it'll have a whole new... she'll be looking like a glamour. We're quite excited about that. So that's all cool. And here we're just bogged down. It's amazing. We're sitting on the boat. The weather outside is beautiful. Had a fantastic breeze yesterday afternoon coming in, and would have been really good to be out there sailing and all those sorts of things. And I've got to tell you, this is just the office. So it really is a mobile office. We Jane and I both sit here on the computer. There's plenty to do with the MGR. We're just starting in the rounds of conversations again. We've got some, really cool support from Cocos Keeling and from Durban. And I've got to keep talking with Cape Town to sort out everything that's going on there and start pulling all that together to create the information base for the sailing instructions for leg 3. We don't finalise it until literally like a month before or weeks before, because things can change and attitudes change. And we're going to wait until all the entrants are here and make a decision on if we go to Tanna or not. I believe it's a really good idea, because if you've never seen an active volcano, it's a good place to stop. But there's a consideration on that with the entrants as well, so we discussed that. And also the issue of Darwin. Darwin will not be a mandatory stop. It'll be a voluntary stop if it's there. But we've got to look at how we manage that. And I think what will happen is, I may have discussed it before, that there will be an option. So you have to call into Australia somewhere to enter the country, so that once you've done that, you sort of coordinate your stop off at Cocos Keeling, which is a mandatory stop. So the entrants will be offered an opportunity to stop either at Thursday Island or Darwin. I think that's the best way. But it's got to be one of those two. So anyway, g'day John. Oh, you're first up, so that's cool. And what else can I tell you? Yeah, we'd rather be sailing, but we haven't done anything on the boat since we hit the water. We moved from the circular pool around here to the new section of the marina in Vuda. They've got huge plans here. It's amazing, which we could talk about later. But they've got the original pool, and they've got this new big one that they've dredged out and made a whole pile of real estate, waterfront real estate there. And in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, there's going to be accommodation over there and all sorts of things. So, but yeah, we'd rather have the boat sailing. I don't even have the sails on the reefing gear yet. We've got beautiful Carver reefing system up there. The sails are all in the aft head here. So I got to sort them out and topping lift. And I'd love to be working on the boat, but we can't. But that's fine. We'll catch up with that later. And we're looking forward to seeing Renaud. Enough of that. We've got a few people there now. I'm sort of waffle a bit here just to give you a chance to get online, and some people like watching it live. Okay, so let's get straight in and start talking about the other thing I've got here is I looked at the finishing times of the entrance for leg 1, and I've got a basic notes here on what the time difference is. So at the end of this, we'll go through and I'll give you an approximate idea of who is actually leading and where they sit, because you may remember that Kerry was only 5 hours effectively behind Renaud in leg 1. But Pila, for instance, was way back. Pila was like a couple of days behind Renaud. So even though she's right up there at the moment, when you put them together, she's way back still. So not way back, but her performance is a lot better on this one than it was before. This leg than it was on the first leg. Okay, enough of that. Let's go to the tracker. So I've hit that. You're on the tracker. Now I go to the tracker. Here we go. And you can see there's a big hole there. Hang on. Here we go. Here's Renaud sitting right there. He's actually doing okay. I'm surprised he's still moving at 3.8 knots. So we'll explain all that when we get to it. And he's got about 42 miles to go, 43 miles to go to the finish. But there's some funny weather going on here, so it could be quite interesting. For now, we will head right to the back of the fleet. Sorry, I forgot to mention yesterday that Josh had actually arrived yesterday. I always have 3 or 4 things going on in my brain while I'm talking tracker, and I completely forgot to mention he got in, had a good time. You may have seen the posts. He's quite a cool dude, is our Josh. He's enjoying the moment for sure, and getting payback for his investment of time, money, effort, passion, all those sorts of things, as are all the entrants as well. But it's really quite crazy. Every entrant is completely different than the other. I don't think there's any two that are alike. They're all unique individuals. So anyway, right back here, here's Gary, but we'll go right back to the boys, see where they are in Papeete. Boy, they're having fun tacking. This is the first time I've seen. Boy, look at that. Crikey, I'm going to pick it up here so you can see what's going on. Anyway, he's doing the right thing. So there's John trying to hang on to that breeze when it was on the nose. Better to stay on this side of the course rather than do long tacks over here and long tack back, because it's swinging, and it's swinging possibly a little bit faster than what we thought yesterday. Anyway, it looks like he's on a roll now, but you can see he had very little wind up the top here. Then he got the breeze, but it's on the nose going out. He did a losing tack, but at least he stays on that side of the course, which is exactly the right thing to do with a swinging wind like that. So you can see he was heading northeast, completely away from Papeete, and that took him about, how long was that one? Over 4 hours. He did 11 miles or something the wrong way. Then he came back, at least it was reasonable. He's tacking through 90 degrees, which is not bad, because the sea, the wind would be up to 15 knots maybe. It's getting stronger now, but back here, so he didn't go very fast, but at least he was hanging into it. And now I think he's on a roll. He's staying high. You can see this. I'll just come back here now. He's staying high. He's not going direct for the mark. He could do, but he's staying high and he's waiting for the wind to shift, and then he'll make his way down. So he's on a roll now. He should make that all on port tack, and he's got jumped there. He's got a bit of 100 miles to go, near enough. So he should be in possibly within 24 hours. So sometime on, it's now, he's on the other side. I won't even go there. He's late in the day, but yeah, in about 24 hours or 30 hours or so, you might see him there. Popeye, on the other hand, is up the top here. There he goes. He's been doing okay. He's doing a bit better than John. He's higher, and it's just coming over him now. 160 miles. It'll probably take him a couple of days yet, and he's been doing okay. So currently he's doing 2.2 knots, and I would say that he wouldn't be doing 2.2 knots as in trying to hold too high in this breeze, 15 knot headwind. I think he just doesn't have the breeze yet, and it might have just come over in the last hour or so, which kept him moving. So it's a bit hard to determine that one, but I think now with this clear wind shift, he'll be on a roll as well, so we could see him in a couple of days. So if we come back and look at what the weather's going to do for these guys in the next 2 days, we go 1 day, that's near enough. Boom, getting lighter, but it's swinging for sure. So they'll be on port tack all the way in there. That's the first day. Second day, lighter and it's just a nice breeze from the east, which is exactly what they want to get home. So there's the 14. What have we got? The 15. Yeah, they're clear. They're on the home run now, and Sea State should be good. So I think they'll be enjoying the ride. What do we got? Yep, all in the blue, so that's probably less than a metre there, and currently still big sea going. That's 3 metres there. That's interesting. So, but that'll be dropping off over the next couple of days. So John's doing pretty well, and Popeye is just coming into it. You can see there he's been into it for a bit. So hope they're getting plenty of video and plenty of stories, horizontal too, landscape, so it's not all vertical, so we can use some of it in the documentary or the film or whatever we're going to do. So we'll see him soon. Anyway, back to the wind, and we'll go and look at Gary. He's the last man standing over here. Gary is currently doing 4 knots, 124 mile a day. Whoa, that's rolling. Has he got current helping? Maybe a little bit. No, he's got no current helping, but it's coming. Look at that. That's a good one if it's still there when he gets there. So he's at least he's moving. Come back to the wind. Give you a quick 1 day ahead. Lightening off a bit, so we'll slow down a bit. Maybe 100 mile a day for the next one. Then the 14th, the same again, but he'll be doing 100 mile days there. So, and he's going to run along that line. So don't come south, Gary. Otherwise, you're going to park in that for a couple of days. Just hold up there and keep going west. So sailing into the sunset. Now, here we go. So Christian is next, and in fact, he might be just underway now. I forget the exact time, but he might be coming out of there he is. Coming out of the harbour. Yep, he's coming slowly but surely. So let's just pick this up and show you where he is. Because I got his notes at 4 o'clock this morning. I get dings all during the night. But anyway, doing 1.4 knots. Distance in the last 24 hours, 73 miles. That sounds interesting. Not sure, because that's only about 10 miles out of the port. So it might have been the other day when he went back and forwards to snorkeling. I can't remember. But anyway, we'll let that roll. So he's on his way, and the weather's okay. Beautiful sailing. You look at what they're all saying. Both the Dans are having a holiday run. Beautiful weather, all that stuff. So that's cool. Okay, so Christian is underway. Then Dan is doing 4.6 knots and did what? Okay, that's why. Excuse me. That's why Christian did 74, because Dan's done 176 mile a day. Beauty, Dan, you just broke the record. But the good news is, it's all positive. You were negative yesterday, Dan, and Kerry. All the boats were negative yesterday, so they've sorted that. But there's been a catch up with the distances somewhere, so that's why it's the 24-hour run is a bit irrelevant back here. So forget about that. But at least we know they're doing 3.8 knots in the right direction, and Kerry's lucking out there because the weather, the wind gradient was a lot less down south than it was up in these guys coming from Vavau. So you can see when he left Pangai, he went straight, get up north as quick as he can. That's enough. It's a waste when you're going north because the rum line is to the west. So you're not sailing away from the mark, but you're not sailing a straight line, which the Vector made good towards the finish is slow. Then he's turned around and it's still light. And so Kerry's missing out on that one, but that's sailing. So 3.8. And then Peeler. Oh, hang on a moment. Yeah, geez, it's gone really quiet, eh? Yeah. I just thought I was on the wrong weather there for a minute. So doing 3.6. And remember, Renaud was roaring through here at 5.6. So that cost him 50 mile a day, nearly. Anyway, she's right up there, and she's quite a long way ahead of Kerry. So it's interesting to see. Kerry left the last one, which was not Tonga, that was Tahiti. Left Tahiti slightly in front of Peeler, and Peeler has now got a jump. Kerry's back was a big part of that issue. And Dan, Holiday Man, did 116 mile day. That sounds about right, and he's currently only doing 3.6. So the only good thing to say about that right now is that Renaud is also, he slowed up. Okay, he was doing 3 point something previously, but now he's only doing 2, and it's 91 miles in the last 24 hours, 2.3 knots. So he's driven into that hole, which you can see here. I won't push it up too far because we'll do a weather overall for everyone first. So yeah, 91 miles, 2.3 knots is going to be a while. So the next 4 or 5 days, it's the whole area is under the influence of much lighter winds overall, and some calms in here, and then it starts to fill in. So the tail enders may compress a little bit because then it fills in and does a lot more traditional weather. Okay, so I'll come back and we'll just walk the weather through a couple of days and look at what's causing it. Here, I'll come back one more just so we can a couple more so we can see. No big systems, just an area of instability, but it's all driving out of that big high that was there before. And there's another high coming across here, and there's a ridge here. Well, it's convergence. So 23 right on the Tropic of Capricorn, which comes right through there. That's where it all happens. This is the trades up the top, but they've moved north. So I'll pick it up a little bit now and then step it through so we can see what's happening overall. I might go one bigger. Okay, that'll do us here. Okay, so every 3 hours it's not moving. I've got to hit that one. So scaling it out, you've got to hit that button again there. I don't know how many people are actually getting on the main tracker site and playing with all these tools, but anyway. So it's still quiet the first 3 hours. Oh, can't see. Here we'll do a close-up of Renaud in a minute. Still quiet, but Renaud's got a bit of breeze coming to push him around in the next 6 hours. And there's breeze there. Kerry's not looking good. He's down the south, and he's still, overall, there's less wind south than north, even though it's only by probably 80 miles. So then on the 13th, we're still, it's reasonable, but they're all just slow. It's not strong trades. It's very patchy. You can see it's varying every 3 hours. It's varying. And then on the 14th, it's going to start to go very light. And here comes the challenge. So Dan, you might luck out with this one as well. Those at the back. There's the 15th. You can see what's going on. It's going to be Renaud might sneak in and the others could stall right out. It's the 15th, 16th, and then it's coming up from the southeast, or coming up from the south. So by the 16th, it's going to be a long time coming. So that's 3 days. Anyway, and then it's back to sort of pretty much to normal, and they'll turn the corner and sail straight into Vuda. So, yeah. And I'm just going to push through to show you the others. There's the 17th. There's breeze all the way through. Plenty of breeze on the 18th. If this forecast holds, plenty of breeze on the 18th. There's some big winds down south. The sea will get up. That's a big push there. That's a big shove. The 19th. So Ayrton and Jasmine are going to get a kick. There's some big stuff there. What's driving that? I'm going to go back and just have a look here. That's a monster system down the bottom. Yep, there it is. That's that monster high, right? And that's what's driving all this. It's spinning off the top up there. That'll slowly go along, but that's going to give you those strong winds for quite a few days until it completely disappears. It's a huge one that's formed up right over the top, because even though this is the main center of that high, it's sort of joined up with the other one next to it, which is compressing the waves here and the isobars here, and actually created a situation where the trade, not only the trade's going there, it's the whole lot. This is a major one. So plenty of breeze there for everyone. That'll be into the 30s, gusting higher. So seas will go up. Seas will be right up. They'll be bright purple. Let's have a look here. Oh yeah, reds as well. That's getting up to 4s and 5s. So that's fun. So we'll keep an eye on that. If the forecast holds true, it may or may not. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is, seen all that, I'll come back to Renaud and we'll try and work out his ETAs and talk about my gut feeling is he's going to come in during the night. It depends how much power he's got on his outboard as well, because he could, inside the lagoon, you could motor a long way. It's flat calm. It's efficient for your motor once you pass through the reef. So here it comes here. I'll just get up there. So this is the current weather. Not much wind, but if I go through, I'll just come 3 hours apart. So the deal is, this is where the reef goes. That auxiliary finish line, which is finish line A, we only use for very special occasions. There's no special occasion, so we're not using that. We're coming right through to Vuda. The reef goes through here, and that's once you get there, you're inside the lagoon, and you come under the influence of local weather, and often there's a lee there of the wind, so it's quite calm. Anyway, there's 3 hours. So you see, in the next 3 hours, Renaud has enough breeze to keep sailing, but it's only slow. Okay, and if I look at the distance, if he's doing 3 knots over 3 hours, there's only 10 miles. But let's see, there's 8, 9, 10. So he's still in with that breeze. Okay, so he's still there. So I think he'll keep moving. Then we go to the next 3 hours. Yep, there's a nice breeze pushing him through. Go to 6 hours. There's a breeze pushing him through. So he's going to have enough breeze to keep moving and get into the lagoon. And this is where it gets tricky, because as you can see, there's no wind there. And if I do a distance back, that's 14 miles across the lagoon. I'm not sure. The battery's probably good for about, you should be able to do at least 8 miles on that. So he might get enough going, but that wind stays like that until the end of the day, basically. So hang on, I've got to press another one here. Press another one. Okay, and then he's got a light breeze, but it's a headwind. He could do it on starboard tack, one leg. Get in. It's there's midnight tonight. Okay, so we've got enough breeze to keep moving. So I'd be very surprised if Renaud gets in before dark, and he could get in anywhere between sort of 8 o'clock at night and 8 o'clock in the morning. That's my gut feeling, and a lot of it will hinge on what power he's got left in his motor. So watch this space. The others, if I come back here now and talk about, I'll go through the positions overall in a minute. Dan is basically a day behind. He's a bit more than 130 odd miles behind, I think. There it is, 130. So whenever Renaud gets in, and looking at the weather going forward, you can count on Dan arriving about probably a day and a half after him. Okay, and then just briefly, Pila is basically another day behind that, although it's going calm, so it could be another day and a half behind her. And then Kerry's the same, pretty much another day. Now, what's the situation with the positions overall? This is interesting. So basically, there's timelines. I'll give you the time distance. And I'm not going to go through the whole fleet, because you've got to get your head around this to understand who might be leading. Obviously, Renaud is leading because he was first into Panama, and he's going to be first, touch wood, into Vivao. And Kerry into Panama was effectively 4 hours and 54 minutes. But for just say 5 hours behind, Kerry was 5 hours behind Renaud into Panama. Dan Turk was effectively, let's just say, 8 hours behind Renaud into Panama. And Dan Turner was effectively 10 hours. It was actually 9 hours and 53, but let's say 10 hours behind. Okay. So, and Pila was 2 days and 1 hour, okay, behind. So, if you say Dan Turner is going to be 1 day behind Renaud, okay, you've got to add another or take off another 9 hours. So, he's going to be 1 day and 9 hours or 10 hours behind Renaud. Kerry, however, has got 5 hours closer, so I'm going to turn it into distance. So let's say they do an average of 5 knots. 5 5 is 25, so you can move Kerry forward 25 miles. You can move Pila back, a couple of 100 miles, right? And you can move Dan back about 50 miles, right? So that's in the picture that you're seeing now with Renaud, Dan, Turner, Pila, and Kerry, right? Just to explain this, just a rough idea. You can pull Holiday Dan back is 10 hours at 5 knots is 50 miles. So he's going to be 50 miles further back, Peeler is going to be about 250 miles further back, right? And Kerry is only going to be about, Kerry was 4 hours, 5 hours, 25 miles back. So on that basis, overall positioning, it's going to mean that Renaud's currently running first, Dan Turner is running second, Kerry is running third, and Peeler is probably going to be, Peeler is behind Holiday Dan, because Holiday Dan was only 8 hours before, but we won't go into that, it's too complicated. So apart from that, just wait until they get there, and then it'll all sort itself out, and you'll see who's winning. But that's just a rougher simile. So Peeler's caught up a lot on her 2-day deficit from leg one, and the others are sort of holding their own. And so Kerry's going to be about 1, 2, maybe 3 days behind Renaud at the end of this leg. So it's still in touch because there's 18,000 miles to go. Holiday Dan's only going to be a day and a bit. That's pretty cool, especially after what's that? That's 7, 8, 9, 8,500 miles, and he's only a day and a bit. So everyone's still in touch, which is cool. All right, enough of that. I'm coming back here, and this is me. I get rid of that. So yeah, things are happening, and we're looking forward to seeing Renaud. That's cool, and let's hope that they come in daylight, but we'll have to wait and see. The process is when they get here, there is a customs mooring buoy off the entrance here. So when they arrive at night time, and it's highly likely that they will have to pick up that mooring buoy rather than come into the customs pontoon. We'll see what happens with that, but that's a possibility. So we'll meet them as they cross the line, and then they may have to wait on the buoy until they get the approval to come ashore about 8 o'clock in the morning, or 9 o'clock in the morning or something, and they come through to the customs pontoon. If they're arriving in daylight, then and everything's ready, then they'll get approval to come through direct. They won't have to anchor or pick up the mooring buoy, and they come straight through to the customs pontoon, and it's all done. So there'll be plenty of things going on over the next few days. So we look forward to that. Okay. G'day, Sailor Susan. Doug and Jing Jing. Sailor Susan, that's cool. We're getting more and more people calling, and met some interesting people. They're all not a lot, but a few interesting people are hanging out waiting for the fleet. Some of the people the entrants met in Panama, and they're sailing across the Pacific as well, and they're all keen to see them get in here. So and they've met some of my friends in Vivao and bits and pieces, and anyway, lots of other stories for later. Hey Don, thanks for all the coverage. Fascinating. I feel like I'm getting an education in long distance sailing every time I tune in. All the best, Ben. Yeah, I was thinking yesterday when I was looking at all this holiday sailing of both Dans, the sunsets and the full moon and this, that, and the other. I'm thinking of all the guys and girls building their 580s at the moment, thinking, let's go get up there, we're going to do this, blah, blah, blah. I've got to tell you, I know a lot of people have done that leg from Panama to here. Our guys so far have had a dream run, right? Yes, they've had squalls and bits and pieces, but sometimes it's not as good as what they've had it. So it's not necessarily going to be exactly the same in 2029, but keep dreaming and keep doing all that torture boarding. But our guys so far have had a pretty good run. I'm envious. I really am, because there's nothing better than being out there. I call it the Silver Grey Highway with the full moon on the water. Anyway, YouTube's good. Thanks, Warren. Josh is only American too. Yeah, that's right. He's the only one, and he's really living the dream. It's fantastic to watch. Doesn't talk a lot about it, but he absorbs the whole thing. And we'll get him when he's here, and we'll do an interview. We'll do the live on each of the entrances when they come in, and probably a quick grab at the dock when they get there. And then later on, during the course of the stay, we'll do what we did in Panama. We'll sit them down and have a heart-to-heart chat for half an hour on how they're feeling, and both in the past of what they've done and where they're going in the future. So, g'day Isla, g'day Gil, Sailor Susan. Waffle a bit less, please. Oh, well, sorry about that. Can the boats take I waffle at the beginning to let people turn up. And remember, you can always get on the tracker yourself. This is what I was saying. I'm waffling now. But if you get on your computer, you can do all of this yourself. You can get all the information you need. You get a lot more information on the computer than you do on the app on the phone. Can't the boats take the route over the top of the island, as there seems to be more wind there? They could if they want. You just got to get to the finish line, and the finish line has a requirement to go from south to north. So if they came around the top of the island, and they'd have to just, if they cross the line north to south, they'd have to turn around and then cross it back the other way. So yeah, there's no requirement in the sailing instruction to go any other way. Bit more challenging navigation-wise up the top, maybe. G'day, John. Is Pila finally used to sailing under her wind vane? Yes, she's got the hydro vane on there now, and it just does its own thing. It's like putting an outboard on the back of your boat. You don't have to tweak much. You just have to change the course. Okay, it's a horse race. Exciting. Yeah, it is. Never over till the fat lady sings. So, it's a horse race. Seems remarkable that Kerry seems still to be in third place, in spite of his episode of severe back pain. If only I could have done some magic manipulation to help his back pain. Yeah, I don't know what the outcome is yet. He hasn't spoken about it at all. But he did everything he needed to do in Tonga, so it must be getting better. G'day, Richard. How many are planning to re-rig in Fiji? I think there's about 3 at the moment have confirmed, and some of the others are thinking about it. It's an interesting point because, I fully understand what I call traditional yacht wear and tear rig maintenance. So on your average cruising boat or around the world boats and things like that, I can tell you from experience what happens and when you need to do it and when you should do it. I'm not an expert, just my personal opinion. But on the little boat with the thin wire, it's 5 millimeter diaform. It could be even more reliable than proportionate big boats. So you could keep going, but you just don't know. And I was surprised when Dan said he had his X-rayed and they told him you may need to replace it in the next couple of months. And he's only done the course plus the trip across the North Atlantic. At some point, I would, I don't think you'd want to go all the way around the world without doing it because not a lot of money. It's the wire and fittings is about 600 Fiji dollars. So that's about 400 Australian dollars. So 6 4 is 24. About 300 euro or something, or less than 300 euro. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what happens. So, okay, that's it. All right, so we're out of here. Sorry, but beware, if you watch me on Sunday, I'm likely to waffle. Sundays is a lazy day, Anyway, good to chat. See you tomorrow, and we'll be live here and on YouTube when Renaud arrives. So stand by, watch him on the tracker, and we'll update. The tracker is increasing in speed now. It's 4 hourly across the oceans, and then, as you know, on the finish of a leg, and this is a leg, not like the pit stops, it compresses. So it starts going from 4 hourly, goes down to 2 hourly, I think, then 1 hour, and then every half an hour as they get really close, and then every 15 minutes or so when you're about to cross the finish line. So you'll be able to follow him in and just see his frustrations with the wind and the weather. So that's it. See you later.
Three in the making. The McIntyre Mini Globe Race 2025. Small boat, huge adventure.